Yo, what is up guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mode channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. Welcome back yet again everybody. We are back with another review this weekend. And because it's this weekend, as promised, I told you guys that this weekend I will be delving into a lot of the newer perfumes, the stuff that have recently released 2022. This one is definitely a 2022 release that I'm sure a lot of y'all are very curious about, and it comes from a very reputable brand and perfumer. Now before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, watching the ads really does help this channel right here. It helps me procure all these samples really quickly. So if you haven't done so, all you got to do is hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much for all your support. Now this fragrance comes from the perfumer Marc Antoine Barrois. Hope I said that correctly. I'm really bad at pronunciation, but I'll just call him MAB, Marc Antoine Barrois. He is a great perfumer in my opinion, great brand right here. A very minimalist brand that really doesn't release a lot of perfumes. I think they only have 2 right now, and this would be the 3rd. However, the 2nd perfume that they released was an absolute blockbuster and in my opinion, a masterpiece. The one he released way back was Ganymede. This is Ganymede, so I have a full bottle of Ganymede. My bad if I haven't reviewed Ganymede, but I have a full bottle. I love it. I think it's a masterpiece as well. And so this 3rd one right here is really quite interesting. It came out recently, probably I think spring of 2022. I'm not sure, spring or summer, but there wasn't a lot of access to it. Actually, when it came to the samples, they did sell some samples, but only in Europe. And this fragrance is none other than Marc Antoine Barrois Encelade. Encelade right here is going to be our fragrance review of the day. I am damn excited. Probably because, you know, Ganymede was pretty awesome, and so I wanted to talk about this as well. Now this sample right here came all the way from Italy, folks. Yes, all the way from Italy, which kind of confirms the whole Europe only thing for a minute right here. And I got it from Italy from, I think, a Mercari seller, and I think his name was Niche Decants. I love his taste, okay? If this is you, Niche Decants, I hope you're hearing this. I love your set of samples that you are selling. He's got a great collection right there. So this came from Italy. I ordered it a while back. Of course, it came, you know, like a week or 2 after. So, but I am excited about talking about this one because there's a lot of curiosity about it. What does it smell like? Does it follow the character of Ganymede? How does it compare to Ganymede? Will it be as good as Ganymede? So those questions I will address today. But before I do that, let's go spray this thing right now. Woo! Okay, let's talk about Encelade right here. What is Encelade? Who is Encelade? Actually, Encelade is a duality when it comes to the concept of this fragrance right here. It's a duality because Encelade is a moon of Saturn. That's a real moon of Saturn named Encelade. And then there's also Encelade, the Greek god. The moon of Saturn, how it relates to this fragrance is that it is believed that at one point, the moon of Saturn, Encelade, was like Earth. That it was kind of like Earth at one point with actual vegetation. Of course, that's not proven, but with actual vegetation, some volcanoes and mountains, forests maybe. And then Encelade, the Greek god, is basically a Greek god of power and character. Okay, power and character is what Encelade, the Greek god, is based on. And under Greek mythology, it is said that the god Encelade is buried under a volcano, okay? And that the warm, hot air that comes out of the volcano is actually his breath, okay? So that's what the concept is. You have Encelade with the green forests, like theoretical green forests and jungles of what Encelade probably was millions of years ago. And then you also have the Greek god Encelade, which embodies power, character, and rebellion, guys. Okay, so put that together. That's the concept of Encelade. Now, of course, that's the concept, but let's go talk about the scent. Damn, let's talk about the scent right here. This fragrance opens with a prominent note of a rhubarb. Okay, rhubarb is the initial prominent note that you will get as you spray Encelade right here. Now, what is rhubarb? How does it smell like, or at least this type of rhubarb, how does it smell on my nose? Now, once I spray this, the first thing I get is green, okay? It's like a green type of rhubarb, but there is a sort of like citrusy, fruity nuance that is very uplifting that goes with that greenness of the rhubarb as well. And then there's also a spice component of the rhubarb right there. So it's almost like an uplifting, fruity green note with some background spice. Now, what's crazy about this prominent rhubarb note is that it feels like it's like 2 to 3 notes at one time. It's almost like an opener within itself. And that's probably why this fragrance is pretty minimalist, because it also relies on the rhubarb having different dimensions to the smell. So again, fruity, maybe even citrusy, kind of tart with greenness as well as some background spice. That is the initial blast of Encelade right here. Now, my first impression on that rhubarb blast, man, my eyes went like this. My eyebrows went up because it was like a wallop. It was actually strong sillage type of blast right from the get-go. And there is an uplifting component right here from the rhubarb, like I said, with the sort of like fruity citrusy part, and then mixed with that green part. It's kind of like an uplifting, like wake up part. And I was just like, wow, this is pretty different from Ganymede in terms of the intro. It's also like a setup for a really gentlemanly, like manly perfume. It's like a setup, but with an uplifting intro. A few minutes in, another prominent note does mix in with that rhubarb, and that's none other than your vetiver. Okay, vetiver is a prominent note. It's not a background note, it's a prominent note. You're gonna get smoky, earthy vetiver coming in, and it will mix in with this uplifting rhubarb right there. And I think, to me, the vetiver is the backbone of the intro right here, which, by the way, lasts a long time. And that's why I'm really concentrating on this intro, because really I think this first part right here is where you're gonna judge this fragrance. So vetiver does come in, it does reaffirm the greenness, there's that earthiness, but it is smoky, and I'll tell you why it's smoky as well. But you've got smoky vetiver mixing in with the rhubarb right here minutes into this fragrance. And then there's also cedar that adds woodiness to this fragrance. I would say the cedar is not a super prominent note. I would say it's a background note that does help with the vetiver. Now, 5 to 10 minutes into this fragrance, I got to smell a little bit of leather, okay? There's a low hum leather that comes in right here, mixes with everything else. And again, overall impression was that, man, this is like super manly as hell, because you have that rhubarb, like I said, it does provide this uplifting wallow of a whiff, but then there's also that spiciness, that greenness of that rhubarb, smoky vetiver, just think about it, plus woods, and then leather, like a little bit of leather coming in. For those that look at Ganymede and say, hey, that's the most perfect gentlemanly perfume, manly perfume, I think that you'll see like little parts of why this one does it as well, but with the difference of an uplifting surge from the get-go. So for a lot of guys, if you are looking for like a manly perfume that starts initially with an uplifting whiff that graduates eventually into like Superman perfume, like this fragrance will do it. It is also mood enhancing. The whole time I was wearing this, I was walking around and I was like, oh man, yeah, this is amazing. And the sillage, like I said, is very strong, even for 5 hours, 6 hours straight on this opening part right here. Now, what's really funny about Encelade right here is that initially, like the moment I sprayed this, I also thought of another manly perfume that starts off with rhubarb as well. And ever since that time, I haven't tried a perfume that opens with rhubarb. That is none other than Clive Christian X. Clive X, yes, Clive X starts off with a prominent rhubarb note like Encelade as well. And I did call this one of the manliest perfumes ever. And that's basically what Encelade does as well. It's a strong rhubarb note that proceeds into more manly notes. But I think that the first part is very essential, and that is what's different from Ganymede, because Ganymede starts off with a curve. When you spray Ganymede, it's like a classy, immediate curve, smooth, and this one would be the uplifting manly brother of Ganymede right here. Ganymede is, for me, more for semi-formal to formal. I think that it's an evening time perfect perfume. This one right here, in my opinion, any time of the day. Any time of the day, and you can also wear it for yourself. I think that others will smell it and will think that you're a gentleman, but I think for the user, it will smell amazing. Y'all will love it around you. Now, 2 hours in, the second part, in my opinion, of Encelade right here is the combination of leather and vetiver. It's the smoky leather part of the mid right here. Now the leather, like I told you guys, it's like a low-lying leather in the beginning, kind of like setting you up and giving you the feels of a classy gentleman's cologne. Again, not enough to trump the other notes. The rhubarb does start fading, I would say maybe 3 to 4 hours in, and then the leather does intensify with the vetiver. So there is a reason why there's that smoky vetiver, because as the leather intensifies into a full leather, you are gonna get smoky vetiver accompany it. So it's still green and leather, I would say, and that is within, like I said, the 3 to 4 hour mark, and it just sets up the mega manly vibe of this fragrance right here. And with that being said, Clive Christian X, like rhubarb but uplifting, starts it off, and then it goes into a backbone of vetiver with cedar, and then eventually smoky leather. Guys, this is a perfume that smells manly AF. Super manly AF. So this is a fragrance that, in my opinion, is gonna make you smell manlier. I agree that there's nothing in this earth that could make you a real manly person, but there are fragrances, there's clothing, there's some accessories that will punctuate that will really make it so that you smell or appear manlier than usual. And in my opinion, Encelade is made for that, much like Ganymede as well. Now let's go talk about the dry down right here. Now when I read about Encelade, I read about the concept of this fragrance right here, and it talked about the contrast of shadow and light. Okay, shadow and light. And with that being said, the light would be the intro, and then the shadow would be the smoky vetiver with that leather. Maybe that's the concept of the volcanoes. And then eventually you're gonna go back to light. And that's basically how the dry down feels. So out of that smoky vetiver with the leather, out comes a beautiful creamy sandalwood note with some tonka bean right there. So that pops up like 6 hours into the fragrance as you're enjoying that smoky vetiver and leather part. So a creamy sandalwood with sweetness does come out 6 hours in, and to me it's like, yeah, I went through the light, dark, light kind of transition, because it kind of like shined out, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing as well. It's a beautiful creamy sandalwood, doesn't smell like dill pickles, creamy sandalwood with that tonka bean sweetness. Ultimately, I would categorize this fragrance as like a Clive Christian X, which means you gotta try it first, because like I said before, just like X, like this is the only other perfume I know that really starts off with a prominent rhubarb. But maybe I forgot the others, but as far as I know, that's the only one, and my memory immediately went to X. And just like X, you have to really try it first, because it is not like other manly perfumes out there. It's gonna be hard to categorize it based on your collection, so you must try it first and see if that really means manlier to you. Like trying all these notes, does that mean you're gonna smell manlier, more of a gentleman? You gotta try this one first. This one is also an upscale grabber, guys, that is usable in the day. That's the difference also with Ganymede, like I said. But just like Ganymede, this fragrance can progress into a formal scent. So it's not just an upscale grabber, but it can go and be used into semi-formal events as well as formal events like Ganymede. Only big difference, I think that this is usable day or night. And any weather, actually. Any weather, believe it or not. There's nothing about this fragrance that makes it like cold weather only, although I think autumn would be such a great time to wear this. But because of the shine of the rhubarb and the shine in the end of the sandalwood as well as the tonka bean, yeah, it's very, very balanced. I think you can use it anytime, really. Also, if you like this fragrance, I think that this can be a rotational fragrance. A rotational fragrance, I said that, which means to me it is also full bottle worthy in its own right. I'm pretty sure there are some people that prefer this over Ganymede and have bought this over Ganymede. probably because of the versatility. Because what kind of man doesn't want a fragrance that makes you smell manlier than usual? There's got to be a fragrance in your rotation, in my opinion, that does that. Not just freshies or not just fruity stuff or green stuff, but really ultra manly perfumes that are smooth and nice, just like Encelade. I think this is a rotational fragrance, no doubt. Finally, it is very, very long lasting. This fragrance lasts a while, guys, okay? So imagine that first part with the leather until the smoky leather part lasts probably like 5 to 6 hours, guys. So this one, I think, in my opinion, from what I tried, it's over 12 hours. And some people say it really lasts forever on the clothes. I have not tried that, guys, but I know from a lot of people what they say is that it's super long lasting. And the sillage right here, strong, just strong for hours and hours right here. So not only is it an uplifting mood enhancer in the beginning, but it also makes you smell like you're some manly god of power right here, like Encelade. So definitely a nice composition. And you know, please don't compare this to Ganymede. Please don't do that. I mean, when these perfumers make perfumes, they don't do it like hit songs, for God's sakes. I mean, how did that guy know? How did Marc Antoine Barrois know that Ganymede was gonna be the hit? He didn't really know. He just made it, okay? Just treat this fragrance as if it's on its own. Try it, okay? Get a sample if you can. I know that at this point, you can get samples everywhere of Encelade right here, but try it out. And I think you'll realize that, hey, you know what? It's a nice perfume as well. And this one can be owned with Ganymede too. It's not redundant at all. Okay, so that is it. That is my review on Marc Antoine Barrois Encelade. In the beginning, I was like, man, what kind of perfume smells like a moon of Saturn and the god of power and character? I don't know. But hey, finally, I got it. I understood it. It's artsy, no doubt. I mean, there's a nice interplay of shadow and light, like I said, as the concept said, but it also still goes into the same manly character of Marc Antoine Barrois perfumes. I think all three are gentlemanly, manly perfumes, okay? So let me know in the comments, guys, if you have tried Marc Antoine Barrois Encelade. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like that intro? Did you like the rhubarb? Did you like the smoky leather? Let me know on the comments below. And eventually, guys, I will be talking about Ganymede. Don't worry, guys. I'm also backtracking, so I will be talking about Ganymede at some point, guys, okay? So thank you very much for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. We are now headed to 12,000. Thank you for your support, guys. Watching the ads, watching the videos, liking, subscribing. Please continue to do that. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another new fragrance. Let's talk about it tomorrow, guys. God bless. Have a great weekend. Peace.